Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Reach Customers Online with Google. I'm Rebecca Chauncey, Interim Director for the Illinois Small Business Development Center, or SBDC, at Bill Bronzeville. Today's training is brought to you at no cost because it's funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the USSBA, or the United States Small Business Administration, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and the Urban Juncture Foundation. We're so happy to have you with us. Couple of housekeeping notes. If you have questions today, please type them in the Q&A section, which you'll see if you hover over the bottom of your screen. And you may need to click on more, but then you'll see Q&A and you can add your questions there. If you are responding to something that the presenter shares in real time, type those responses in the chat. And I'm so happy to present to you today's presenter, who we've worked with before, and she's fantastic, has great insight. And CJ Harris is an Illinois Google coach. I'll let her tell you more about her background, and she'll talk to us about how to reach customers online with Google. Take it away, CJ.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to um, collaborate with you all once again. And today's workshop is Reach Customers Online with Google. And before we go into that, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about the program. So again, I'm CJ Harris. I am the Illinois Grow with Google coach. And I'm also a small business owner. So I have the pleasure of leading That's So Creative Media, which is a full service creative marketing agency focused on website development, brand strategy, and communications. And also, as part of the Grow with Google program, we host a number of these workshops online. Grow with Google's mission is to grow. Help business owners like yourselves to grow and thrive online. And I always like to get a sense of who's in the room. So feel free to drop your business name in the chat and maybe how long you've been in business. If you're not currently a business owner, would love to know that as well. So again, that we understand like who's in the chat, who are we talking to. I really want to tailor this presentation to your needs. As Rebecca mentioned, if you have a question that you want us to answer live, go ahead and utilize that Q&A section. But yeah, feel free to drop your business name in the chat so that we can see who's here. All right, as you all are doing that, so I want to start with asking a question around how do you typically find the things that you need about anything, right? So, how do you typically search? How do you typically find the things that you need? How do you typically find the businesses that you're looking for, the products or services that you need? And of course, the short answer is Google. Now, if you have a website, and I hope everyone on here has a website, you know that your website is like your digital front door. This is the first time people will interact with you. It's the first time a potential customer may get to see like who you are, what types of products and services do you have. This is where they are considering, do I want to buy from this business? Do I not want to buy from this business? And so again, this is your online digital storefront. And there are a lot of ways to connect with customers and find new customers online. And that's what we want to talk about today. So thank you all for putting your business names in the chat. Let's see, we have a few. Let's see, the Primping Room, makeup artist, awesome. It can be done, women's fashion, awesome. Co-owner of MITC Studio. That's great. That's awesome. So we definitely want to help you all get online or at least be more effective online. So in today's presentation, we're going to talk about how to reach customers with a Google search. We're going to talk about how you reach customers with your Google Business Profile. So even if you have one already, we're going to help you understand how you can optimize that program, that profile, how you can optimize your Google search. And then we're also going to talk about how to reach customers with Google Ads. And then we'll end with a recap and some resources. So first off, we want to understand how Google search works. Now I'm going to take you on a journey, okay? So just walk with me as we go on this journey because we want you to really understand how Google search works, because if you really understand how it works, that's going to help you to understand how the algorithm works. And so of course we know that an algorithm is a computer program that's used to power search. So an algorithm helps locate the information on the web. And so the Google search algorithm sorts through all the web pages that it knows about, and it puts those pages in an index. Okay, and then it delivers the most relevant search results. So we'll go into that a little bit deeper. So again, it starts with the search. So if you imagine, say, a library, I don't know how many people here still go to the library, but when you were younger, you used to go to the library, and you may or may not remember the card catalog system. Okay, so the card catalog system was basically an index of every book that's in the library. And so you would use that index to find that book that you're looking for in the library. Now, it's very similar with a Google search. When you're searching for a website, Google checks its index, right? And so we're not just looking for one particular book or one particular search. We may be looking for one piece of information inside of a website. Or if you're thinking about the library, let's say you're looking for a single page inside of a book, right? And so that's what Google search does. It helps you to find, or it helps people to find a specific thing, a specific piece of information that they're looking for inside of its index. And so when you're looking for something, you'll type it in the search bar, and this is what we call a search query. Okay. So just again, we're going on a journey. All right. So Google helps people find all sorts of information. So we're talking about millions and billions of web pages. And so this is an example of a Google search page. Now, of course, the layout of the page may look a little bit different. We have, other things like AI overviews now and things like that. But typically you will see ads, you'll see the search results, and then you'll see the business profile. Now, again, we're going behind the scenes. So I want you to understand again how the search engine works so that you can really understand how to optimize your website to rank higher in the search engines. So Google creates a copy of the web page and it catalogs this information in its index. That information is saved in the index, and that is what's used to create the search results. So it's not delivering like the exact web page as you see it. It's delivering its own copy of the web page. Okay, so Google search identifies the relevant results and presents them in order of what it thinks is most useful to the searcher in that moment, in that place, and in that time. So let's say if you're in Bronzeville right now, in the Bronzeville area, I'm located in the Beverly area. So anytime if you search or if I search for the same thing, our search results are going to look totally different because that search is relevant to the place where I'm at, who I am as a searcher. It has certain, data about me. So everyone's search is going to look different. Okay. And so there are many different factors depending on what types of results that you're going to see. So again, it's where you're located. How recently was that page updated? How many other pages linked to that site? Whether there are pictures on that page, and so much more. So Google's job is to deliver the best search results. That's what it's trying to do. Okay. So again, we're going on a journey. So how can you help your website appear higher in the Google search results? So again, search results, they can appear in the center of a page. This page is showing the most relevant results for that searcher. Okay. So this is actually a real company, Trade Street Jam. And so this is showing how this person's page may appear in the search results. But again, how does Google know which pages to deliver first in those search results? Now, there are more than 200 signals that come into play. And so a lot of times people may claim to have hacked Google's algorithm and they understand, exactly how it works. There are a lot of best practices, but there's around 200 different signals that actually come into play as it's deciding which pages to show first. And so, although it's not possible to know like the exact algorithm, you can utilize those best practices. I also want to note that your page's ranking in the search results that cannot be bought. Okay, so we're going to do this through what we call SEO, or search engine optimization, to improve your website's visibility. Are there any questions so far as we're going on this journey of understanding how search works?
Not yet, CJ.
Okay. All right. So let's go into what is SEO. So essentially, SEO refers to the techniques that can improve your website's rank or relative position in the Google search. So this is the process, again, of making your website to appear better in search engines. So what are some things that we want to think about with SEO? Number one, it helps to make your website more visible to people searching for products, services, and brands. It helps you to connect with consumers who are actively looking for the products and services that you offer. One thing I want to point out is that you want to make sure that as people are searching, for your types of products or services, we want to make sure that they can find those searches. So for those of you, we see women's fashion on here, we see makeup artists. If I'm looking for a makeup artist near me, or if I'm looking for women's fashion near me, or if I'm looking for a particular type of women's fashion, we want to make sure that your website is ranking higher in the search results. And it can also, lastly, help to increase potential sales by helping you to appear more prominently in the search results. Okay, so there are a few different factors, and we want to talk just really briefly on this idea of backlinks. Okay, so what is a backlink? Essentially, it is a key element in helping to build authority for your domain name. And so this basically means that other websites are linking to your website, and it signals to Google that the content that you have on your website is more valuable. So let's say if your website is listed on other people's websites and it backlinks back to your website. Let's say if you are a guest blogger on someone else's site, or let's say you get a mention on social media, or you get a click somewhere other than your own website, those sites are now linking back to your website, and it's helping build the authority of your domain name. And so now when people search for your product or service, or they search for your business, Google will be more likely to boost your website in the search engine rankings, because it knows that this is a website that has valuable resources. Another way how you get backlinks to your website is you create sort of like a resource hub on your website. You create relevant content. So maybe you're giving tutorials, maybe you're giving fashion tips, things like that. And you're giving, maybe charts or graphs or infographics, anything like that, that a person would want to refer back to your website, like, oh, here's a really good page that outlines, the best fashion trends, or, here's a really good page that details, how to do this particular technique in makeup, right? So this, again, these are just references, and you're causing your website to become a reference for other people. Okay. Another thing is building relationships. So again, if you're an influencer, if you want to, again, connect with other influencers or other websites, then you build relationships with them. Maybe you pitch your idea to another website and say, hey, can I write a blog post for you? Can I appear on your podcast? There's a lot of different ways how you can gain visibility for your company or for your brand. And then again, as you're gaining that visibility, make sure that they link back to your website. Okay, so now you are seen as an authority that will also, again, help you to rank higher in Google search. Any questions so far? So we talked a little bit about content. So content is key. So we want to publish content regularly. There is not a hard and fast schedule or guideline to how often you should post, but the more frequently you post, the more frequently you update your website, the more likely it is to appear in the search results. Okay. So if you have a blog, for instance, or maybe you have products on your website, you're updating them regularly, this will signal. Remember, I said there's like over 200 signals that Google uses in its algorithm. One of those signals is how fresh or how up to date is this content. And so, again, if you're publishing regularly, Google's algorithm will begin to see your website as an authority and boost your content in the search engine rankings. Another thing, and remember, these are low cost ways. These are things that you don't necessarily need a web developer or anyone like that to help you boost your SEO. All right, so these are some organic ways on how you can boost your SEO. And so another thing is you want to add titles and descriptions to your web pages. So you want to describe each web page clearly with those titles and descriptions. All right. So if you are using a CRM, if you're using like a WordPress or Wix or something like that, usually there will be some way of how you can make sure that the title and the description of the page shows up nice and clear. So if I go back to this search results here. So you see in the search results, you see the title of the page. It says Trade Street Jam Co. Handcrafted vegan jam. That's the title. And then that little description under there, that's the description. So every page on your website, you want it to have an SEO rich or a keyword rich title and description. Because remember, as people are typing in certain keywords, maybe they're searching for vegan jam, right? So that could be a keyword search that someone will put in. So you notice that they don't just have like the title of their company, they have handcrafted vegan jam. That's very intentional because now someone searching for vegan jam will more likely to see their company or website. Okay. So let's see, go back here. And then lastly, you want to be organized with your content. You want to organize your content in a structure that is easy to follow. So you want to have your uh, I want to say like your tags, your H1 tags, your titles on the page. Everything should be structured well. Okay, so your headers, your subheaders, everything should be well structured. Your navigation at the top of the page, everything should be clear and well structured. So again, Google knows which pages to offer up in the search. Okay. So then we have Google Trends. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, I don't really know what to write about. What do I put on my website? What kind of content could I do? Google Trends helps you to research content strategies to refine your marketing messages on your website. And so one of the key things is that it shows the relative popularity over time of different keywords. And so you can compare the popularity of different keywords. You can see how search patterns change over time. You can also see the seasonality of those words. So maybe some keywords are more active in the spring or the fall or the summer. Um, You can also monitor your own brand's popularity over time. So maybe you put your business name in Google Trends to see how popular your brand is. And so, one example of a company called Tea Drops, how they use Google Trends is when they were researching for how people in the US say bubble tea, the trends showed that people on the East Coast search for bubble tea, whereas people on the West Coast search for boba tea. Now, this information is valuable to them because now they can develop a website content strategy and ad campaigns based on that knowledge. So, if they're running local ads, let's say they're located on the West Coast and they're running local ads, they know that those ads should say boba tea. But if maybe, let's say, they're sending out their product to the East Coast or they're sending it out, they're targeting that information, they may want to say bubble tea. Okay. So again, you can visit google.com/trends. And I want to do a little activity. So I'll give you a minute or so to do this, to try it out for yourself. So you want to go to g.co/trends and open a web browser, and you want to enter the keywords or phrases related to your business and compare the results. And another cool thing is you can narrow it down by location. You can adjust the date range. You can also explore related queries. So again, think of a word or phrase related to your business. It could be the name of your business. It could be a product name, a type of service that you offer, and see what comes up. Would anyone like to share what's coming up for them, or if you have any questions? Okay.
Just a reminder, if you want to respond to questions that or make a statement related to what CJ says, you can type that in the chat. But if you have a question you want to ask, please type that in the Q&A section. And if for some reason you're not able to type right now, you can raise your hand and I will give you access to respond aloud. And we certainly will have time at the end for Q&A as well, where you can ask a question aloud.
Yeah. And so hopefully everyone on here has a website. They're operating their website, they're optimizing it for SEO. And so, of course, again, if you have any questions on how to better do that, pertaining to your particular business, definitely let us know. All right. So
Quick question,
now,
CJ.
yeah,
I have a question for you. So
sure.
I just did the exercise you encouraged everyone to do. And one thing I see as far as related topics are concerned, there are percentages next to some of the topics, but then it also says breakout. What does that mean? Or can you speak to what that means when you're looking on this Trends website, the Google Trends website?
Yeah, so the percentages are basically the popularity
Right.
of the of the term. So
Hmm.
it ranks it from a percentage from 0 to 100, and that's just how popular it is amongst all the other terms that could possibly be related to that search. So there may be like several different words that it's comparing, and it gives you like a score of 0 to 100. Now let's say you put in a word that is not very popular at all, it may have like a really really low score, or it may not even be able to score it at all because it's just not a popular word. um the other question I'm not sure about, I would have to look at the screen, but that's generally how it works with the percentages.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mhm. All right. So let's dive into some more SEO improvements that you can make. Now, these are a little bit more technical improvements, so you may or may not need help from a web developer or someone that can help you with this. But these are really critical because Google, again, it uses over 200 signals. Fast load time is one of those signals. So your website should load quickly on all devices. Um, some things to encourage you in terms of making your website load quicker. Make sure that you optimize all of your images. I think that's one of the biggest culprits to a slow website is that if you take a picture of your product or service and you just upload it to the website and you haven't tried to compress that image, make sure that your images are no more than, I would say, 10 kilobytes, no more than 10 kilobytes. It will say that you can upload up to 3 megabytes for an image. Most websites are like around 3 to 5 megabytes that you can upload, but I would suggest trying to get that into the kilobyte range, right? So, sizing goes from kilobytes to megabytes to gigabytes, terabytes, right? Kilobytes is one of the lowest ones. So I would try to make my images as small as possible, and that's going to help them load faster. Okay. The other thing is you want to make sure that you have your website looks great on all browsers and all devices. So it should look great on desktop, mobile, tablet. So you may need to go in and tweak the design a little bit based on which browser or which device is being used. And then, of course, if you want to learn more, you can access Google Search Engine Optimization Starter Guide. That's at g.co/SEO Starter Guide. Okay, so that's a good place to start.
I
All
think
right.
so. I'm sorry, CJ. Someone
Oh,
has a
someone
quick
has a
question, and I
question?
guess she's not able to type. So, uh, Rochelle, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name. I will allow you to talk. You can ask your question.
Yes, thank you. It's Rahel. Quick question with the pictures. You mentioned the low resolution, but I was told before, like low resolution also make your website looks not professional. So how do you combat that? Making them smaller for uploading faster, but then they may not look, the pics might look poor quality, and then it makes your website looks bad.
Right. So there is a difference between resolution quality and file size.
Okay.
So there's a way to compress the image and still have the same resolution. So you're absolutely correct. You want to make sure that you have a high enough resolution. So that's with the pixels, right? So you'll see maybe it's 1200 pixels by 900 pixels, right? And that'll give you like a nice size, or 1080 by 920 pixels, or something like that, where it's a large enough size where it can cover the whole screen without getting blurry, but the image itself is smaller. So you're going to reduce that DPI. So, and hopefully I'm not losing you with some of these terms, but let's say you get a professional image from a photographer and it's measured in DPI, right? So let's say it's 300 DPI. That's usually the size that you want it for, to be able to print it out and have it look really nice and sharp and crisp. But if you're going to put something on the website, the general rule of thumb is that that image needs to be 72 DPI. You can go up to like 96 DPI or maybe 150 DPI, but the larger that DPI, the bigger the file size is going to be. So you want to reduce that DPI. So you want it to be 72 DPI, but keep the pixel size the same. So like the height and the width of the image, keep that the same pixels. So hopefully I didn't lose you too much, but um, websites like Photoshop, even Canva, you can mess around with that DPI and pixel settings just to make sure that they're optimized for web. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. So let's go into really quickly Google Search Console, excuse me. Google Search Console is great because it can confirm that Google can find and see your website. So remember, in the beginning of the presentation, we talked about how Google indexes your website. So it's not showing your website as it currently is, it's showing the index or the copy of your website. And I will say that Google's algorithm, its web crawlers, it's constantly crawling the web to see which sites have been updated recently, right? So Google's index is constantly updating. One of the issues, however, is that it may not have updated it right away, right? So let's say it's showing an older version of the page or an older version of your website. You can go in and tell Google's index to fix that page and update its index. And so you would do that through Google Search Console. SEO specialists will also use this to monitor website traffic. Now, I don't think we don't get into Google Analytics on this presentation, but this is also another way of how you can monitor your website traffic. You can optimize Google search engine rankings from here, and kind of see like where you're ranking. You can also make informed decisions about your appearance and in Google search results. Okay, it can also influence technical decisions. So if you're using, trends, you're using analytics, and Google Search Console is telling you different data about how your website is performing or what pages are performing better, or how it looks on mobile. All of these are decisions that, again, will help you to boost your search engine ranking. You also get to see how Google Search brings visitors to your site. So again, you get to see what keywords are bringing visitors to your website. You can also receive alerts if Google Search encounters a problem with accessing your website. So let's say a web page is down, or if there's some other performance issue like a hack or something like that. I know in times past, I've had clients who have come to us and they were hacked, and so we're like, okay, well, before we can actually work on your website, we've got to fix this issue of, your website got hacked, but maybe Google is still referencing or indexing the old hacked page and it's giving you an error message, but the site is clean. So now you have to resubmit that site to Google and say, hey, this site is clean now. I need you to re-index recatalog your index. Okay. And so this is a little bit technical. I'm sorry, let me go back. So yeah, Google Search Console is a little bit technical. You do have to have a pixel or like a property inserted into your website's code in order for it to collect data on your website, but it's definitely worth it. So you can go to g.co/search console. And then also it's important to note too that you don't have to sign up for Google Search Console to be included in the search results or rank higher necessarily. So this is, again, it's just a tool to help you. All right, so I want to do another activity. I want you to go to google.com and I want you to search for phrases or words that should surface your business in the search results. And I want you to see, how does your business show up? And if yes, what text appears? How does it look? Or if it doesn't show up, what other sites show up? And do you recognize these businesses? So this is a good way of how you can do competitor research. So let's say you type in your business name, maybe it shows up, maybe it doesn't, or maybe you maybe you type in like Chicago makeup artists. All right, what shows up? Do you show up in there somewhere on the search results? Do your competitors show up there? what are they seeing? What are you seeing? What types of websites are servicing? So this could give you a lot of valuable data on how you can improve your own website search ranking. And then again, if your website does show up, does it show up correctly? Is it displaying the links that you would want it to display? Does it have the right descriptions that you want it to display? So you want to do searches like these periodically to see if your website is showing up the way that you want. Does anyone have any questions or comments? No? No questions? All right. All right. So hopefully your website is showing up, and hopefully you have your Google Business profile. So if you did type in your business name, you should have seen your Google Business profile if in fact you do have a Google Business profile. And so again, in the previous section, we talked about Google search results. This is another way of how you can show up in search, and this information is also shown in Google Maps. So for those of you who have a brick and mortar location, or you are a service area business, maybe you go out to other businesses, this is very valuable. This is key. Okay, so this is how you're going to help stand out on Google. So your Google Business profile allows you to manage your business info, connect with customers, post updates, and more. Now, again, this is like your digital storefront. I know I said the website was your digital storefront, but this right here, they're going to see this before they even see your website. And so you can update this just like you would a social media post, a social media page. You can add info about your business. You can add a description. You can add your products, your offers, events that you may have. Like, this is a game changer for most businesses. Okay. And if you do not have your business profile, you do have to get it verified. Usually, it used to be like a postcard verification, like they would send you a postcard, and then you would have to call them with the verification code. Now, most likely, they want you to show a video of your business to verify that this is, in fact, a real business. And they did this in order to cut down on the number of spam businesses. But again, it's well worth it. So if you do not have your business profile, definitely get your business profile. Any questions so far? Does everyone have their business profile? Feel free to drop a 1 in the chat if you do, or a 2 in the chat if you don't have your business profile. All right, so we're going to talk about how to make the most of your business profile. So again, you want to complete your business info. You want to add photos and video. You want to explore other features that may be available for your business profile. So I know that now they're offering ways of how to add menus really easily through AI. You can use AI to update your business description. Like, there's so many different updates that they're putting into business profiles. So definitely check that out. And so again, like I said before, you want to regularly update this. And then, of course, if you go to, if you're already logged into the same account that you signed up with Google Business Profile with, all you have to do is type your name in the search, and you'll see all these controls that you see right here on the page. So again, you'll see edit profile. You can reply to messages. You can read reviews. You can see the performance of your profile page. You can answer questions. You can book people. So, again, for my service-based businesses, you need to book clients. You can accept bookings right from the business profile page. And so, again, you can engage with customers. You can read and respond to reviews. You can promote your e-newsletter. You can encourage people to buy products. One thing I want to say about reviews is that if you do get a negative review, Google will not remove that negative review, but you can respond to reviews. You can also ask for reviews. So if you see on this right here, right at the bottom, there's like a little chat icon. It says ask for reviews. If you click on that, it'll give you a custom link that you can send to your customers to ask them for a Google review. So again, that's also a game changer. So if you're doing a service for someone, make sure that you send them that link to send you a review on Google. They've also integrated QR codes. So now you can grab a QR code. You can put that on your signage. You can put that on your business card and ask for a review. Okay. And so, of course, if you don't have that business profile, you want to go to google.com/business and claim or complete your business profile. Get the verification code. I'm sorry, not the verification code, but do the video verification. In the meantime, you can explore your business profile and update your info. Okay. Any questions about Google Business Profile? All right. No questions? Cool, cool, cool. All right. Now let's dive into just a little bit around Google Ads. Now, this is the third way of how you can reach customers with Google, and that is through ads. Ads are totally free to set up. You only pay when someone clicks your ad. So I want to make sure that that is clear. And it's a powerful way to reach customers. Now, I'm not going to go into the video. I'm actually going to skip the video. And we're going to go into how search ads works. So it all starts with a Google search. So again, if someone types in a search query, they want to know, where to go, something to buy, something to do, they'll type in that keyword. Google's algorithm will create a search result page that lists all the websites and any other resources that the searcher may be looking for. And so we've already discussed search engine optimization. So that's how the web page ranks in the search results. But then separately, you'll see a sponsored tab where ads can appear separately. Typically, it's at the top or the bottom of the search results page. Sometimes it may be in the sidebar, but those search results, those ad results will show every time someone has a search query. And so then simultaneously, Google's algorithm runs an online auction amongst advertisers to determine which ads are going to show first. So even that's a ranking, right? So your ads may not show to everyone who searches for that product or service. It's all done through an online auction. And so this happens in a matter of milliseconds. Google Ads determines who the auction winners are, and then it displays those ads in the search results page. And then, of course, the ads are labeled sponsored, so you know that this is a sponsored ad. Advertisers, again, only pay when someone interacts with that ad. So it does not cost any money for that ad to display in the search. You only pay if someone clicks on the ad. Okay, so that's very important. And so again, ads appear on both Google and partner websites. Of course, this is called pay-per-click advertising. The ads can also appear on websites that are a part of Google's display network. So of course, if you've ever been on a website and you see like those banner ads on a website, maybe it's in the sidebar or it's at the top in a banner, those are all a part of what we call Google's display network. So your ads can display all over the web. So you can have smaller text ads like the ones that show up in search. You can have shopping ads if you have products linked. You can have YouTube ads. There's so many different ways of how you can display your ads across the web. Okay, and so Google Ads system will determine, it'll automatically determine where to show your ads to give it the best chance for success. So Google's algorithm is taking into an account the keywords that the searcher put, is taken into account the relevancy of the ad, is taken into account the landing page, that when someone clicks on that ad, what page is it going to go to? So that's why it's very important to make sure that if you run an ad, the page that they click is actually relevant to what that person searched. So I always encourage people, don't just put your website, like your homepage of your website, as the thing that people will click on when they click your ad. Put the landing page that's relevant to the ad that they're clicking. So again, if you sell gourmet jam, okay, if you're running an ad for your strawberry jam, make sure that the ad that they click goes to the strawberry jam and not to the whole like page, right? So we want it to be really targeted, okay? And so to get started with Google Ads, the easiest way to get started is to start with what we call a smart campaign. So you're going to go to google.com/ads, and you're going to click Start Now, sign into Google, and Ads will ask you and it'll walk you through how to set up this campaign. So the smart campaign is the best way for small businesses. If you're new to advertising, this campaign type actually walks you through step by step how to set up the campaign and how to get the best results. And it's important to note too that you can drive phone calls, store visits, and so much more. Now, here is a checklist for when you start running your ad campaigns. So, number one, you want to decide what the goal is. What action do I want people to take? So, that's very important. You also want to connect your business profile and enter your business info. So, again, as people are searching, it's going to also pull up that business info. You also want to identify and create a relevant web page to connect your ads. So remember, as I said before, this is what we call a landing page. So we don't just want to point people to our homepage. We want to point them to a relevant landing page that will be more likely to convert and get people to actually buy or sign up for your product or service or whatever it is you're asking them to do. You also want to write a compelling ad. So you want to write an ad that encourages people to take action. You want to have a clear call to action. Call now, book here, buy now, and tell them why. Tell them the benefits of why this is going to be beneficial for them. You also want to choose keyword themes and locations and where the ad can appear. So you can specify where you want this ad to appear. So if you're more locally based, you may say, I only want this ad to appear within a 25-mile radius of my zip code because this is the area that I service. So we don't necessarily want those ads showing up to people who are outside of that location. Okay. You also want to choose keyword themes. So a keyword theme is like a phrase that helps you to match your ads in the search. So for instance, if you sell, let's say you sell jam again. Let's say you sell gourmet jam. That's different from just jam, right? So if someone's searching for gourmet jam, or like we said, if you sell vegan jam, you want to put that as a keyword theme. So not just a single keyword, but a phrase or a grouping of phrases or words that would be more likely that people are searching. And you also want to set a daily budget. Now remember, it charges you monthly, but you can set a budget of how much you want it to go of how much to spend per day. Okay. And Google Ads is not going to spend more than the budget that you set. Okay, so that's also important to know. And it's not going to spend your budget unless people actually click on that ad. And then, of course, you want to launch. All right. So now that you have a better understanding of that, you want to create different ad variations to see which keyword themes, what mix of themes, descriptions, images, what are those variations that can make my ad perform better. So more ads can lead up to 15% better performance without increasing your budget. So you can have multiple variations of the same ad for the same budget. And so it's just going to serve which ad is most likely to convert. You also want to add negative keyword themes. So a negative keyword themes is words that you want to exclude. So for instance, again, if you sell gourmet jam, you don't want anyone who maybe they only want recipes. They're not trying to buy a product. So you would want to put recipes in your negative keyword theme. So that's a negative keyword. We don't want people clicking on our ad who they're just looking for recipes. They're not looking to buy a product because that click will count against your budget, right? Now, you also want to connect your Google Analytics to your ad campaigns or to your Google Ads account. Google Analytics can give you more data on who's actually clicking on my ad. What are the demographics of the people who click on my ad? What keywords are they using? What type of search terms are they using to click on my ad? What do they do? What other pages do they visit after they click the ad? So Google Analytics, having those two connected can give you a lot more data. And then we also want to monitor performance, and we can pause that ad at any time. Okay. So any questions? We've got about 5 minutes left, so I definitely want to make sure that we leave time for questions. Okay. Well, definitely feel free to ask any questions, drop them in the chat, or use the Q&A section. So I definitely want to make sure that you all can get started and be successful with getting your business online. Okay. All right, so we're going to go into a little bit of a recap. Now, I know I covered a lot. Hopefully, we weren't going too fast, but it is a lot of information to digest. But I just want to go over really quickly the 3 ways that you can appear on Google. So, again, we talked about Google search results, we talked about business profile, and by using ads. And so, of course, this illustration here shows those 3 different ways. So we have a text ad on this page, we have the search results, and we have your business profile. Okay. And so then we want to talk about what are some of your next steps. So again, feel free to drop in the chat what your next steps are going to be. You may be asking yourself, where do I start? Where do I begin? Well, the first place to begin is to improve your website, right? So maybe that's your first step. You need to improve your website. You need to make it appear better in search. Maybe you go to Google Search Console to see how does Google see my website? How well is it performing? Okay, so you can use Google Search Console to monitor and maintain and troubleshoot your presence on Google. Maybe your next step is to get that business profile and make sure that your business shows up on Google Search and Maps. And you can do that for free. And also make sure that you keep that information up to date and accurate. So maybe you do have your business profile, but maybe the next step for you now is let me check out my Google Business Profile and make sure that this information is the most accurate info. Make sure that I'm posting regularly. I'm posting updates about my company. Remember, I said you can post the same way you would post on social media. Add Google Business Profile into your content mix. Okay. Also, just make sure if you already have a profile, and this is just advice from experience, I would not update my address unless I know for sure that I can get the address verified, because there is a possibility that it can trigger a re-verification. So we definitely do not want to change any sort of like address information unless you know for sure that you can get that address re-verified. Okay, so that's important. And then lastly, maybe your next step is to try out ads. Remember that smart campaigns make it really easy to get started with ads. So you don't need to know a whole lot about how to optimize ads, because the smart campaign is going to walk you through that process and it's going to help you to optimize those ads. Okay. And so you go to ads.google.com. So again, feel free to drop in the chat. What will you do today to grow your online presence? Are there any quick wins that you can use? Definitely start there. And I'm going to give you another slide here. These are all of the resources that we had from today. So we have the starter guide, trends, the Grow with Google YouTube channel, how to get on business profile, Google Career Certificates. There's some things that I'll talk about towards the end here. And so, of course, if you want to keep learning, you can go on the Grow with Google YouTube page and check out the YouTube channel. So many more resources like this on our YouTube channel. You can also look up career certificates. These are a great way to advance your career, or if you have employees, you can sign them up for this as well to advance their career, or just, advance their knowledge and skill set. And then, of course, there's more resources on our Grow with Google landing page as well. And thank you all so much for your time. I'll go back to this QR code, but this gives us feedback on the workshop. This doesn't go to me, it goes to Google. And thank you all again. Of course, connect with the SBDC, and you can connect with me at the information here as well. Thank you so much, Rebecca, and I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you, and thanks for keeping this slide up. We certainly give a great round of applause for CJ. Thank you very much for that insightful session. I hope that I'm thinking the reason why you didn't have we didn't have as many questions is because there was so much information you were processing, and you probably still are processing what was shared. But you please feel free to connect with us, as CJ noted. If you're not already a client, reach out to us via those methods there. Same with CJ, and she's noted how you can connect with her. And you will receive a link to this recording along with a survey to share your insight about today's training. And you could share recommendations for future training, because we like to provide training that helps you to excel in your business. Many thanks again to you, CJ, for your wonderful presentation. And everyone, continue to have a great day and weekend ahead.